Okay, welcome everybody. We're another episode of Why Virtual Connect, and here today we're with Megan Knight to talk about brain health. Megan is from Brookdale, and we're excited to have her here today. So without much further ado, Megan, welcome. Please
Thank you.
enlighten us.
Thank you very much. As Jane said, my name is Megan Knight, and I am from Brookdale Senior Living. I've been with Brookdale Senior Living for about 6 years, a couple of different communities. But before Brookdale, I actually did work at the YMCA. I was a membership director at a YMCA in Savannah, Georgia. And my husband has worked with the YMCA probably close to 8 or 9 years total with his career. We've been in Georgia as well as here in Charlotte. So I am very used to the YMCA. The YMCA is part of my lifestyle as well. And so I was really excited to be able to have this connection with Jane. I've been able to work with the YMCA doing presentations like the one I'm doing today in person. And obviously since COVID has started, we've tried to take a different approach and try to still bring educational topics to those active older adults so that they can stay engaged and continue to learn. Just a little bit about Brookdale, in case you're not sure what it is. We are a retirement community. We offer independent living, assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing. So we find it very important to educate senior adults in regards to brain health, because we do work with a lot of seniors who do have different stages of maybe some memory impairment or dementia or Alzheimer's. And of course, everyone wants to know, well, how can we prevent it? So today I want to talk with you a couple of things about brain health and how we can have healthy brains. So I'll be having a PowerPoint presentation. I would be happy to send this to Jane afterwards in case anyone does want the presentation themselves. I know some people really enjoy having something in their hands. Trying to get it to click to next screen. There we go. So today we're going to discuss brain health, the functions of the brain, what are normal changes versus what are warning signs with brain aging, Alzheimer's disease and dementia, brain healthy updates you can make, and a brain healthy lifestyle. So first we want to know, what is brain health? That's what a lot of people want to know. So what is it? What do we mean when we say brain health? So throughout your life, your brain's job is to help you make sense of the world and help oversee your daily operations of life. Brain health refers to the ability to remember, learn, plan, concentrate, and maintain a clear, active mind. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about how to have brain health. Not just memory, not just our memory, not just what we can remember, but how we can plan, how we can concentrate. So that's all part of brain health. When your brain is healthy, it has the blood flow required for peak performance. And a healthy brain is essential for living a long and full life. You're better able to pay attention, solve problems, and communicate, and much more. So we're going to go a little bit more in depth here about the brain functions. So the human brain is one of the most complex organisms in the universe. The brain is made up of a network of billions of cells. So here's our colored model here that's going to help us in a few minutes. All of these cells are called neurons. These neurons have little finger-like projections called dendrites. They reach out and connect other brain cells, forming a complex network. So just think about like how maybe if you're looking at like a root system, that's kind of how our brain is. It's all this whole root system that's intertwined. So they connect the other parts. And the more connections, the better remembering what we said. So the more connections that we have, the better it's going to be. So we're going to talk about the different parts of the brain quickly. So the brain can be divided up into many ways, but it can be categorized in the most general sense by the cerebrum and cerebellum. The brain's 5 major functions serve individual powerhouse that process conscious thought, control emotional and physical reactions, and it stores your memory and much more. So we first have the frontal lobe. That is that orange part right here. I'm going to draw my screen so you can see where I'm looking at. This is our frontal lobe. That's kind of the boss or the CEO of the brain. That really is your decision, your judgment, planning. It helps really your focus and attention. Then this part right here, our green part, the occipital lobe, it's more of your visual and your perception and your reading. Our parietal lobe is in our blue area here. That's going to be more of your touch, your pain. Oh, those reactions, you touch the hot stove. That's that part of our brain. As well as our spatial relations. You know, maybe it's dark. I know as we drive, sometimes it gets a little bit more difficult with our driving, and we can't see the spatial relations. Our temporal lobe, that's kind of more of our memory. So that's what we're thinking about when a lot of people talk about, you know, they're starting to not be able to remember as well. That's going to be your temporal lobe. And of course, then there's our cerebellum, the red area here. That's your balance and equilibrium. That's why you go to your exercise classes to work on your balance and your equilibrium, your coordination, your movement. And so those are all the different parts of the brain. It's a very simplistic way to show you how complex a brain is, but really to just kind of develop each part of them. It's very complex and not always completely understood by many people. What we do know is that every part of the brain has a known function. The old idea that humans only use 10% of their brain, how many of you guys have heard that? Oh, humans only use 10% of their brain. This actually is not true. That's just a common myth that a lot of people have. So here are a few brain facts. Your brain actually weighs between 2 and 4 pounds. And it's composed actually of about 60% fat. So that's, if you're wondering where all your fat excess is, it's in your brain actually. So that's where all your fat excess is, the 60% fat. But also 25% of the blood from each heartbeat that you have goes to your brain. So every time your heart is pumping, 25% of that blood goes straight to your brain. So let me go to the next one. Sorry, my computer froze on me for a second. There we go. Clear up the screen there. So now we want to know, what is the difference between normal changes versus warning signs with brain aging? Because there is a normal aging process, but people want to know what's normal compared to maybe the signs that I want to start looking out for. Sorry, my computer's very sensitive, not sensitive today. So as we age, our experience and knowledge keeps our brains working. It helps our brain continue to develop and to learn. You may start to experience noticeable changes, but not all changes are a sign of concern. It's also important to know there are several other reasons lapses in memory occur. Certain medications can do this. I know probably many of you are on medication. Some of your medications can cause memory loss, a lack of sleep. We're going to talk about that later, how a lack of sleep causes a memory loss, as well as excessive alcohol. So the next slide is going to show some normal changes versus some warning signs. But before we go to that slide, I want to actually ask you, and I want some participation, if you don't mind coming off mute, of what you think is a warning sign versus normal aging. So I'm going to say something. I want you to either say warning or normal aging. So feel free to participate. Difficulty completing familiar tasks.
Warning.
Warning.
Warning, it is a warning sign. Vision changes related to cataracts.
Warning.
That's maybe aging.
Yeah, this sounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
still
vision
a warning.
changes actually are normal aging. So your vision that's part of the normal aging process. Sometimes having trouble finding the right word.
Warning.
Normal.
Yeah.
Normal.
Normal.
That is normal. And the fingers crossed, we want that to be normal, because I think all of us have that problem, that we can't find that word sometimes. That is normal, just not be able to find the right word. However, if you're now having new problems with writing or with speaking, that could be a warning sign if it's something new that's developing. Withdrawal from social or work activities.
Warning.
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 That's a warning sign. A lot of times people, as they start to see something's changing in them, start to withdraw. And that's actually really bad because we're not staying engaged. And as we're going to learn more, the more engaged we are, the more exercise classes we go to, the more outings that you go on during non-COVID times, the more educational topics that you come to during Zoom times. That's really good to helping your brain stay engaged. How about misplacing things from time to time and having to retrace your steps?
Normal.
Normal. That's normal. Yeah, that is normal. I would say probably
Yay.
we all do that. So let's. I'm going to show you the next slide here. So here's our warning signs versus normal aging. I'm just going to give you a second so that you can kind of look at it of what's normal compared to what's a warning sign. So if it's disrupting your daily life or if it's a new change, that's usually more going to be your warning sign compared to maybe every once in a while. That's kind of the keywords there. Occasional, once in a while, sometimes. That's normal aging. But when we start seeing a new process, if it's a new pattern that we're having, that's when we have to start being concerned that it might be a warning sign for us. So a lot of people have the question, what's the difference between Alzheimer's disease and dementia? So I just wanted to give you a quick little, dementia is actually a global term. So it's a very general term that's defined as a syndrome of decline in memory and other cognitive functions sufficient to affect daily life in an alert person. There are many forms of dementia actually. So Alzheimer's actually is just one form of dementia. Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia. Dementia is progressive, so continues. It's disabling and is not considered to be a normal part of aging. So when people say, oh, memory loss and dementia, that's part of normal aging, the normal aging process. It's very different than having a every once in a while cognitive loss. So Alzheimer's disease is actually just a few facts about Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease is a type of dementia. It is irreversible. It's progressive brain disorder that slowly destroys memory and thinking skills. And eventually it destroys the ability to carry about a normal task. So as you see that, irreversible, progressive, slowly. So there are ways so that we can help slow down the process. It is most common cause of dementia in older adults. It is very uncommon before the age of 65. However, unfortunately, we've come across more and more people who are getting early onset diagnosis of Alzheimer's. Usually at 65, it's only about 2% chance. And then usually about every 5 years, that chance doubles. So at 80%, your chance is 8 to 16%. At 90 years old, that's about 50%. So Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Researchers are studying many approaches to prevent or delay Alzheimer's. They have some focus groups. Some people are also focusing on lifestyle. And we're going to talk about lifestyle today, how our lifestyle can help us to prevent or delay Alzheimer's. We'll take a look at the most healthy brain updates that we can be making. So some brain healthy updates that we can make. For a long time, scientists actually believed that we were trapped with the brain we were given. But thankfully, that theory went out the window when they discovered a new theory, neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is just so interesting. I see some people nodding their heads. This theory has proven one extremely amazing fact. Our brains have the ability to change. And so that's why it's so important that at a young age, and we're all at a young age, to start doing things differently and to retrain our brains. I believe Jane said a couple of weeks ago, you guys had like a brain type class that you guys were doing about retraining the brain and different brain games. Those are so important to be able to have different ways for our brain to pretty much make new paths. So I want you to think about that. Like if you're in the woods, that's kind of how your brain is, and there's different paths that you can create. And as you do new things, we're creating new connections. And remember we said earlier, connections are what are so important. So one simple way to think about brain health is like this. Just like your muscles, the brain requires exercise. So just like you go to a class, you may be lifting weights, or another one may be stretch bands, you want to challenge your brain to grow in different ways. And the best way to do this is by using more of your senses. So research has shown the more senses that you use, the better it is to retrain your brain. So a little bit more about neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is why adults are able to recover and relearn skills after a stroke or other injuries to the brain. So think about that person who maybe had an accident or who had a stroke, and they start going through occupational therapy and physical therapy. It's because of neuroplasticity that they're able to retrain their body. Plasticity is the brain's ability to change and grow throughout life. Our brain's ability to create new brain cells is called neurogenesis. So most neurogenesis occurs in utero. So most of it's going to happen before we're born. But creating new brain cells can happen throughout life. When we learn new things, we're forcing our brain to make new brain cells and new connections between the brain. So I just want to just stop for a second. Does anybody have any ideas of different ways? And don't just think broad. What are different ways that we can help retrain our brains? Any ideas out there?
Do something you've never done before.
That's pretty, yeah, do something you haven't done before. I think somebody else was about to say something.
Try doing things. If you're right-handed, try using your left hand, vice versa.
Yes,
I keep
yeah,
hearing
exactly.
languages,
I think the last one.
learning new languages.
Learning new languages, yes. So really important seminars like this are so important because you're learning something new, taking a new language, learning an instrument. What else did I hear?
There's a lot of emphasis on brain games, crossword puzzles, things
Great.
like that.
Yes, crossword puzzles, Sudoku, those type things. I just want everyone to take a moment and cross your arms. Everyone just cross your arms for a minute. Just cross your arms. Okay, now uncross your arms and cross them the other way. Did everyone have to think about it before doing it?
Yeah.
It
Yes.
doesn't come naturally. Exercises like that. If you're writing, you always step forward with your right foot. Start thinking with your walking with your left foot. Take turns crossing and uncrossing your arms opposite ways. It's so simple, but you probably actually even feel it in your brain when you're thinking about it. Have you ever heard that person say, oh, pat your head and rub your tummy at the same time? It's because your brain is having to be stretched. So important. Great way to be able to learn more. So brain healthy lifestyle. There's good evidence that what you eat can also make a difference in your risk of cognitive decline and dementia, which includes Alzheimer's disease. Eating certain foods and avoiding others has been shown to slow the brain by 7.5 years. That's a huge number there, and lessen your chances of developing Alzheimer's. Born as a hybrid of two existing eating diet styles with decades of research at their backs is something called the DASH diet and the Mediterranean diet. They've come together and they've developed something new called the MIND diet to emphasize the foods that impact brain health. So this is something everyone wants to know. What should I be eating? What's good for my brain? What's not good? I'm about to change the screen, and I think some of you guys are gonna be like, oh no, I am not eating what I should be eating. So just look it over for a second and give me some feedback of what you find interesting or a little surprised by. So the MIND diet which is a mixture of the Mediterranean and DASH diet. Green leafy vegetables, spinach and salads, at least 6 servings a week. So pretty much every day you should be having a salad for your brain. Besides your salad a day. Nuts, 5 servings a week. You know, those omega-3s, you know, your nuts are so good. What did we say about the brain? What is it made up of? Fat. So we want to nourish it with the good fat, not the potato chips and not the Cheetos and all the bad fat, all the fried chicken. We want the good fat, the nuts to help feed our brain. Berries, 2 or more servings a week. Beans, at least 3 servings a week. Whole grains, 3 or more servings a day. Fish, once a week. Poultry, 2 times a week. Olive oil, use as your main cooking oil. Use that instead of vegetable oil or canola oil. And then wine, 1 glass a day. So what's something that you might see a little surprising here?
Fish just once a week.
Trying to talk, I think you're on mute.
Yeah,
Okay.
fish just once a week. I thought you should eat fish 2 or 3 times a week.
Okay, so fish, not as often as you thought. What are some other surprising things that we're seeing? Or not?
I kind of eat a lot of this, so.
Good.
I thought that I thought that the almonds and walnut is the best source for the brain.
I'm sorry.
Is the walnut and almond is the best for the brain?
Almonds?
Yeah,
And walnuts, she said.
yeah.
Very good. Good nuts, not legumes. A lot of people, I eat my peanut butter. No, eat those good nuts, those walnuts and those almonds.
How
So
about peanut
here,
butter?
though,
When you mention peanut butter, is it good?
I would say nut butter is better because you're actually having nuts, whereas peanut butter, you're having a legume, which is not technically a nut there. So your almond butter is going to be healthier for you, better for your brain.
Oh, good. Okay.
So here's what to avoid, and I think this is what sometimes surprises people. Red meat, less than 4 servings a week. So I think a lot of people, especially down south, you know, red meat is so big, it's such a huge part of the diet. Butter and margarine, less than a tablespoon daily. Now, the one that surprises everyone the most usually is cheese. Less than 1 serving a week. So just think about what a serving of cheese is. I would say a lot of people put cheese on their salads, and then they put cheese on their, whatever your side item that you're making. And then you have your macaroni and cheese. And think about actually less than 1 serving a week is recommended.
Now I have a question. I do have a question on, you are saying pasta 1 serving a day?
No, I didn't say anything about, I was just saying with cheese, people put pasta, cheese on their pasta.
Oh, how about olive oil? When you mention olive oil, how much is recommended?
How many tablespoons?
Olive oil, cook with olive oil.
But how many tablespoons per day?
It doesn't have a recommendation. It's just saying use it as your main cooking oil. When you're cooking, try to use your olive oil instead of any kind of other oil.
But the people says that if you use it in the cooking and if the olive oil becomes warm, is not good.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to heat olive oil up too high because it goes bad. So if you're going to heat for that, you might want to use avocado oil.
Cannot heat.
Oh, which avocado is another good different oil. A lot of people, I think, go though a lot of times to their vegetable and their canolas, which are not as healthy for you to be eating.
The avocado oil is healthy?
Avocados, yeah, another good oil to use.
And avocado you can heat at a higher temperature.
Correct.
Right.
And a lot of things, another thing to think about is a lot of times with our, you know, of course, stir frying or something like that is definitely better than deep frying or, you know, but a lot of times your vegetables, especially, you're going to get more nutrients when they're still alive before you're cooking them. So that's really important to, you know, you want to eat your raw vegetables so you can get the best nutrients possible. And then of course, stay away from pastries, less than 5 servings a week. And a pastry serving would probably surprise you of what this actual size is. I'm sure many people eat all 5 servings when they eat 1 pastry a week. So don't think, oh, a pastry, you know, I got that big bear claw. I can have 5 of these a week. That big bear claw is probably all 5 of your servings in one snack right there. And then fried or fast food, less than once a week, they recommend. So also very important, of course, is physical activity. There's a great deal of research related to the benefits of exercise. This is probably the single most important thing to do for your brain health. A lot of people don't realize how important physical exercise relates to your cognitive ability. It has many benefits, including producing a substance called to help spawn new brain cells. You should get how much do you think at least a day? You guys should know that. I'm sure Jane talks about it all the day. How many minutes of exercise should you get a day? Minimum. 30 minutes. 30 minutes as a minimum. You want to make sure that you are actually doing some kind of intense exercise. That could be a aerobics class or weightlifting class. Lots of great. I know here at Brookdale, we do something called Brookdale Be Fit, where we have certain chair exercises. We have other ones, we dance in the living room, and it's kind of different depending on each person's level. So we do have the Be Fit program.
How about
here.
2 hours a day or 1 hour a day?
At least 30 minutes. So if you're doing more, that's even better.
Great, thank you.
So some benefits of exercise. You're going to be reducing your risk of developing Alzheimer's. You're improving your blood flow to the brain. Remember, we said 25% of the blood goes to the brain with each heartbeat. So you know how your blood flow increases as you exercise. It elevates your mood. I mean, how much better do you feel after you exercise? It reduces stress. And actually, we're going to talk about it. Stress is actually very harmful to your brain, and it's very bad for your brain health. It causes an unhealthy brain. So one way to help relieve the stress is by exercising. And it also reduces other risk factors. Studies have shown that people who exercise on a regular basis, which meaning 20 minutes 3 times a week, so that's even below the minimum, they have better memory, are less likely. So if you guys keep on coming to these classes, physical activity is going to really help limit and slow down the process. So 30 minutes of moderate intense exercise. Exercising 30 minutes per day, as I just said, we talked about the different factors they do. What are some good exercises that you could be doing?
Dancing.
Dancing.
Walking.
Walking.
Coming to my class.
Coming to,
house
yes,
cleaning,
going to a
coming to
YMCA
Jane's
class.
How about house cleaning?
House
Yes.
cleaning, yes.
Yes.
Turn up some music and do some house cleaning.
Yeah.
Here's a
Shopping.
question. What exercise, what form of physical activity do you think is the most beneficial to help fight cognition to slow down?
Walking.
So walking.
Walking. Any other ideas?
Walking 2 miles every day on the Harris track.
Swimming.
Swimming. Think about what we said about using the more senses that you use, the better it is for your brain. I see I'm giving you some brain teasers here, which is also good for your brain. It's actually ballroom dancing is the #1 exercise you can do. And it's because you're listening to music, you're touching usually another person, and then you're moving with the physical exercise. So you're using your senses as well as exercising. So you're actually more of those different little triggers are being connected in your brain. You know, so someone said, learn a new language, Learn an instrument. Those are all really good for your brain as well. So here are some other brain healthy lifestyle benefits. Your lifestyle has a profound impact on your brain health. Unlike aging and genetics, you have control of your lifestyle choices. Here are some brain healthy lifestyle interventions. So first of all, you want to manage your chronic health conditions. Definitely talk to your doctor about this. And most of them are going to recommend is your eating lifestyle as well as your exercise. So those are usually the two main things that they talk about. Treating depression. If you're depressed, definitely see a doctor about it, but think of things that might help with depression. Being socially engaged a lot of times helpful instead of staying by yourself. You know, the natural sunlight instead of staying in the darkness, which are things that are just so good for your body and for your brain. Correct hearing loss. A lot of times as people age, they may be embarrassed that it's harder for them to hear, so they don't want to say something. The truth is, the sooner you correct that, the better it is, because as you have hearing loss problems, you're not going to be as connected socially with other people. You're not going to be able to hear as well. And it's going to maybe then cause depression or cause you to withdraw from different situations. Reducing your stress. Stress is just so bad for your memory. And a lot of people who are under high stress, it has been reported that their memory, short-term memory, is just not there, and they lose it very quickly. But the good thing is, as we said before, you can retrain your brain. You can exercise your brain. So we definitely want to reduce the stress. Go ahead and start exercising. That's one way to reduce the stress. And think about the other things that may be causing stress, and think how can you get that out of your life. Tai Chi, yoga, meditation. So those are really good things. Just your attitude in general. Quitting smoking. If there's any smokers, you know, we hear it all the time. Smoking is just not good for your health overall. It's not good for your brain health either, not just your physical health. Other healthy lifestyle choices that impact your brain: physical activity, mental stimulation. Somebody was talking about those crossword puzzles, those word searches, Sudokus. I told Jane earlier, during the summer, we were giving away all of these, we were calling them senior activity packs, because we were so concerned with COVID of people being in their homes and not being engaged with other people, that we were afraid of the cognition. That's really what we were afraid of, people not using their brains. So if anyone is interested, please feel free to reach out to me. We have extra senior packs that we'd be happy to give away. Meditation. Meditation, very important. And then just staying socially connected. And according to research, laughter is one of the best medicines that you can have. So be around people and just have a positive attitude. That's going to help your brain health. So here's something called the Stroop test. Do I have a volunteer? One volunteer.
What is
No
that?
volunteers? Okay, do it in your brain. What'd you say?
What is that? What is the
Is it,
taste?
are you volunteering?
What is that taste means? What kind of taste?
So what I want you each to do, since we don't have a volunteer, I want you to read every color you see. Say aloud the color you see in every word, not the color you read. So do it to yourself right now. Say aloud the color you see, not the word you read.
I see
I'll
blue color.
volunteer.
Green.
I'm a volunteer. I see blue color.
Go across. Red, white, green, brown. Go
Green,
across each
red.
one and
Green,
say the
red.
color, not the word.
Red, white, brown.
Red. Brown.
Red, white, green, brown.
White,
Green, red,
green,
brown,
Green.
red,
Green.
brown,
White.
I
White.
see
brown,
Brown.
White.
Brown.
red.
green, green. Nope, white, green, brown. It's hard. It's
It's
hard.
hard, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Because yes, it is.
So red, I've actually only done it one time where I had somebody who did it perfect. Most
Really?
of the time somebody messes up at least one
At
time.
least, yeah.
So usually when you go across, you may start by reading the color, but
Right.
brain, so this is a really good test for your brain, really good for your cognition. So the Stroop test is used in neuropsychological evaluations to measure mental vitality and the flexibility of your brain. So performing well requires strong attention and self-regulation capability.
Wow.
So this is a really good test to try to really work your brain.
Wow. Red, brown, red,
Okay.
green, white.
So I'm going to stop there and just say thank you to everyone. I know we talked about some brain fitness games. When you're looking at brain fitness, good ones are ones that are going to require multiple parts of your brain, your memory, sensory, language. So for motor coordination, learn to dance or do a different routine exercise, play ping pong, play the Wii. Our residents love playing. Learn techniques like categorizing information, rhyming, and acronyms. Play games that require memory. Think about it as a child. Remember that game called Memory? That's a great game for us to play as adults. Sensory. Identify familiar smells. Attend a wine tasting. Use touch to determine what an object is. Try an interesting food. If you get together with a friend, or if you're married, there's somebody with you, there's a game where you can put something in a bag for the other person, and then the other person reaches in, not knowing what you put in, and they touch it and feel it, trying to guess what is in the bag. It really helps your brain. Language, crossword puzzles, writing a poem, learning a new language. Visual. Close your eyes and everybody close your eyes. Picture your childhood home right now. Can you picture it? And then start adding the trees where they go, and add the windows where they're supposed to be. Go ahead and add what the landscaping looked like. Maybe you could picture the neighbor's house also. So these are great ways for you to be able to help with visual, and that helps your brain. Attention, learning new games, and then executive. Anything that requires planning, setting goals, anything like that will be really good. So I'm going to stop there. Just a couple of ideas for you. One thing I did not mention is make sure you are getting the sleep that you need. Sleep is just so important for your brain and for brain function. So thank you all very much. I'm so thankful that I was asked to talk about the brain. I love talking about the brain. I love doing in-person ones, but I definitely am so thankful we live in a time with technology that we can stick together throughout COVID and be able to learn more. As I said, I do have those senior activity packs. I'd be more than happy if you want to stop by and pick one up, or I can send them to the YMCA. You want to pick one up there, just ask Jane and she can contact.
That'll be great. That'll
Yeah,
be
that
great.
would be great.
Yeah.
Copy.
Yeah, I'd be happy
Yeah.
to arrange you guys to get those.
Yeah, if you can email us, that'll be great.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, we are so thankful. I tell you, every week, and all these talks that we have, all these Zoom meetings, you can watch, as well as classes. So just make sure you guys know that you can take any of the classes that are up. And I'm open to, I'm looking for feedback. If you want more classes, I was thinking maybe of live streaming my class next week. And so that you can come. Carol was there. Carol, are you still on? Yeah, there she is. Carol, there's Carol. Carol came. Wave, Carol. She's up in outer space now.
Yeah.
So
Hi,
she's
Carol.
around. Carol gets around.
Jen, thank you so much for doing all this for us,
You're welcome, Marsha.
Please
It really
send
brings
the
joy to
email,
see you guys.
on
Thank
the
you,
email,
Jane.
send us the copy.
Thank you, Jane.
She
So
was
you can find everything online if you want to watch this again or share it with other people. If you have other topics you want to see, Megan's got a whole host of things. So I'm probably going to bring Megan back because she is very knowledgeable and she has a lot of great stuff to share. But if there's something in particular you're interested in, please don't hesitate to let me know. I hope you'll feel, so next week, I think this meeting will be, I might just kind of walk around the Y and show you what it looks like there, what the protocols are, show you what the check-in looks like, show you how empty the building is. which is
And
kind of-
show us the swimming pool. At least I can look at it. If I can.
Okay, okay. So I'll figure out how to do all that so I can give you a little tour.
It is,
And then we can
it
figure
has
out
been
what-
a miserable because I had a sciatic nerve because I could not swim from 7 months.
Oh, well, hopefully you'll feel better. And
I hope so too. I hope this corona goes away.
yes, well, it's just a pleasure to see you guys, Megan. I hope that you'll come back and join us again for other topics.
Love to.
Please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email if there's anything you think you want to know about or that we can do, or if you want some of the kits that Megan mentioned, and I'm happy to make that available to you. So it's great to see everybody.
Thanks.
Oh, next week it'll all be about what's going on at the Y. And then the next week we have a really good, one of our members, Effie, is going to do breast. It's gonna be a really
Yeah,
good-
I'd like to have a seminar on kidney and heart and a lot of different things,
Yes.
that helps.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Megan,